Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ramon Ray with Smart Hustle Magazine, and thanks for sharing this moment with us today. So I'm here with Jim Lewis. And you can tell me your exact title and tell us a little bit who you are.
Yeah, well, in the McDonald world, we're owner-operators. So I'm Jim Lewis. I own, 15 stores in Manhattan, 2 in Queens.
Awesome. And what is it like being in New York? I mean, tell me about your background. Are you New Yorker? Were you born here? Did you come? Briefly tell me where your history.
Sure. Well, I guess I'm a New Yorker now. I grew up in Detroit, 1986, moved to New York. I joined my uncle in the business, who was a McDonald owner-operator, and actually worked for him. I was working for AT&T prior to that. Moved out here, was scared out of my mind about the city, so I actually moved to Connecticut with the idea that I had a 1-year-old daughter. I wasn't sure I could handle the city and do that. And since then, I've been my first job was in Times Square, working quarter grill and having a ball, and I actually love it. So became an owner operator in the early '90s, and my uncle retired quite a while ago, and so here we are. I've been doing it a long time.
And I can tell you love it because we got to talk and I got to see you earlier and things like that. So I can tell that you love it and that you love what you do and know what you do.
Yeah, well, love's a key word for us kind of right now. So I'm loving it and everything, but I am loving it. It's working at AT&T, I worked with MBAs, I worked with doctorates. They were all academically smart, which was terrific. All right, but boy, you get to the city and you work with all different kinds of people. I mean, all different kinds of people. And the intelligence factor, there's some street smart, sure, but the intelligence factor is astounding to me. I mean, the people are wonderful, and the caring and how the teams come together. It's a great environment to work in. A lot of fun.
Awesome. There's a campaign that I saw in the Super Bowl just a few days ago. I was at my sister's house, and what's the name of the campaign? And give us a summary of what that's about. People come in, I see high fives, I see yay. What the heck is going on? What's that about?
You're not the only one that doesn't understand what's going on or doesn't really want to believe what's going on. It was an idea that percolated out of looking at the brand and deciding where do we want to be in a few years. And I think looking back at the brand, what have we been? There was a time we were the most trusted brand in America. Everyone trusted McDonald's to do the right thing and do everything. We're still operating the same way. We are still trying our best to do the right thing and do the best. But I think somewhere along the line we lost some of that trust with younger generation, and parents don't want to take kids to McDonald's, those kinds of things. So as Deborah Wall is our new chief marketing officer, as she sat with the agencies in Chicago and just tried to say, hey, what can we do here? We had our tagline, I'm loving it.
Yes. And
so it really just kind of came out of, boy, wouldn't it be nice if it was just, got rid of the haters, and maybe it was just a kinder, gentler nation. I know some president said that somewhere along the line, right? But, couldn't we just do this? Yeah. And we'll have to give credit to Leo Burnett, who is our ad agency, came up with the idea of what if a customer came in, right, and could pay for his meal by just showing some happiness, and then of course we evolved that to love, right, and going right with our tagline, and could he pay by loving? And boy, when the Super Bowl ad ran, I'm on Twitter, a lot of people on Twitter, it blew up. I mean, it blew up. People were like, really? And, people were crying over some of the calling their moms and saying that, they love them and everything. And the store energy around this promotion is much bigger than we ever thought it would be. We thought this would be a fun event, nice event. It's been a huge event. I mean, the crews are all happy to do it. The people that work for us, the people that get it are truly moved. I have to tell you, you just saw one a little while ago, right? There's a big cheer from the crew. It just makes it a lot more fun to work here. And the person that receives that and paying by loving is astounded. They're just shocked. And when they do the nice thing, you can see they feel good about it. And so, who better than McDonald's, right? I mean, Happy Meals, everything. We're the ones that are trying to, frankly, earn your trust, right? And we love your trust. And for us to bring a little, nicer edge especially to New York, why not, right? Why not?
And I think that small businesses, which is my forte, I think we can learn from that. I think even though McDonald's is a billion-dollar company, I think, or big company.
A little more than that.
Yeah, a little more than that, a few billion. Right, no, I understand, but the big company.
Right?
But I think we can, right, I understand, but we can all learn from that by doing just wowing our customers, even if it's simple, random acts of delight or just doing right. So I think that's what I got from it, that, hey, listen, McDonald's is showing us this, but here's what we all can learn. Just smile or do something cool for your customers.
Shock with good. What is wrong with that, right? So someone walks in, and you shock them with something good. Carry the tray while they're pushing their stroller, right? Open the door for them. Ask them to pay for their meal by high-fiving the guy next to them or hugging their daughter, right? Come on, it's just a good thing, right? And I think we all have to admit the world is just a little harder, a little edgier. Maybe it's because there's so much media, social media, those kinds of things. It's easy to hate,
absolutely,
right? But sometimes people are embarrassed to love. So we're kind of opening that door to say, hey, it's okay. It's okay. And we have no problem. I mean, how many men don't like to say the word love, right?
Right.
Yeah, we're having no problem with that, right? Hey, pay with loving, and people are laughing and joking and fun. What could be bad about that? It's a good thing.
No, that's awesome. And I got to talk to you a few minutes today before we were taping, and so many things I want to talk to you about. But let's talk about leadership. I'd love to talk about culture. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about hiring. I know you work with thousands, and the owners work with hundreds of millions, or whatever the number of young people. Yep. So maybe let's start with leadership. So I saw you today talking, having an inspection, kind of an internal inspection with McDonald's managers and looking at the hamburgers. You clearly had a passion for that. So talk about that. But my question to you was, how do you translate you as an owner? You're up here to everyone else, to the person who's flipping that burger from you. So let's talk about what that was about, and how do you convey that to everyone in the company?
Absolutely. Number one, that's the hardest thing in business, right? And it's not just McDonald's. So if you're chairman of AT&T, okay, what's the lowest salesperson doing, or the operator? It's different, right? You have to figure out how to get the energy, the passion, down the channel, and that's always a very hard thing. So in my world, I believe strongly in, I'll call it habit management, but as you and I were talking a little earlier, it's culture. All right, if the culture of your store is fast, friendly service, you hire a new person. If they don't assimilate into that fast, friendly culture, they're going to be the outlier. They're not going to be comfortable. They're going to be, they're just going to be the different person, and no one wants to be the different person on the floor. It's a hard, unless they're the better person. I guess some people like that, but for the most part, it's hard to come in and move slow if everyone around you is moving fast, right?
It's challenging.
Now, of course, the converse is true, right? If you want to change your culture, that's the hardest thing. So, look, we have to all be honest. Some managers are better than other managers. Some restaurants are going to be better than other restaurants because of the management. How do you change that culture? That is boots on the ground. There's no meeting I can have and have all my crew members sit in front of me and say, smile more, move faster. And then I go back, to my office or wherever I go. It just can't be that way. So, we have to come in. We have to help build that culture by leading by example, right? Knowing what we're doing, right? And motivating people to want to do that. And one of the favorite things I like to say is, people want to work in a good McDonald's, right? Or people want to work at a good office at AT&T.
Absolutely.
Right, exactly, right? No one wants to work in a store where the manager doesn't know what they're doing. You get conflicting, information what you should do, and no one really cares. No one wants to work there. We have the lowest turnover with some of my toughest managers because they're fair and fun, even though they're being tough. And that's a whole different culture that you have to build. And it does start with the owner-operator. And if the owner-operator isn't going to go into stores, and he doesn't know the names of his crew, and he's not going to, be willing to pick up the trash on the floor like everyone else, then what kind of culture are you sending? Message are you sending?
So I guess your job is to pick the right managers, you call them, the person under you. Is to pick,
general manager would be the person who runs a restaurant.
Right. It's to pick the right general manager and maybe some other staff, and they then have to then go to the next level and make sure they infuse. Like your job is to get them right. Their job is to go down. Is that about right?
Yeah, but it is, but it starts a couple steps before that. So every one of my general managers came from the crew. Every one of them. Okay, and they make significant money. So if you don't hire and you don't do the correct orientation with your crew, you're going to lose your culture, okay? And then eventually, if that restaurant manager there, you have to change or you have to do something. Well, where are you going to get that restaurant manager from? If you hired a culture that is a little, say, slower or more methodical but not enthusiastic, your store is going to be more methodical and not enthusiastic. So it really does take a step back. But yeah, my key is making sure I identify the right people to move into leadership that'll support the culture, and maybe not necessarily the best tactician, because I can train the tactics, right? It's hard to train enthusiasm, love for talking to a customer, love for talking to people like you. I see it in you, right? So you might have a job offer by the end of the day. But
bring it on. But
go ahead.
No, this is great. Let's talk about also the people you're hiring in general, meaning America, and feel free to have a sip a drink, no problem at all. Let's talk about entrepreneurship. I own 3 businesses. I work for Infusionsoft, and our CEO, Clayton Mass, always says, says hire to your culture and fire to your culture, which echoing what you said. So you're hiring you and your the owners, millions of young people or whatever the numbers are, all over the country. Just talk about them, meaning some come from different backgrounds. They're white, they're black, they're Spanish, they're Chinese, poor, rich, all across. It seems like you're one of the biggest employers who are starting working at a company for many people, if you know what I mean. That's their first job. So can you just talk about that a bit? What goes in your mind and your managers' minds, because they're the ones hiring them.
Well, it's kind of funny because 1 in 8 people, their first job was McDonald's in the United States. Wow. All right, so everyone's had a chance to come through us. It's an entry-level job. We like to hire, again, to the culture, but I'll call it hire a personality. All right, I need to see in that person there's the flame or the edge that is going to allow them that when they talk to my customer, to number one, not be afraid of them. Okay, not be perturbed by them, but just to be, in essence, a friendly person. Now, occasionally we get someone that we miss on, but we do have other opportunities, all right? So, maybe that person's better in the grill area than the front service area if customers intimidate them, those kinds of things. But the beauty of McDonald's, I think, gets missed in a lot of conversation. The diversity of our employees at Times Square, okay, which was one of my restaurants. One year, we actually, I'm sorry, I might be 1 or 2 countries off because I'm going from senior memory here. But I think we had 13 countries, okay, represented in the crew. Going from, we had a heavy Arabic population, we had Haitian, we had Dominican, we had everything. And they were all one team, and no one ever said, okay, that's the Dominican person over there. No, it was always a name, and they were all one team, and they had fun. They would go to Great Adventure together, and they were hanging together on rides together. It was colorblind, and it was really, really kind of a nice thing to see. And
sounds like New York.
See more of that. Yeah, New York. Growing up in Detroit, New York is much more colorblind than some other areas of the country. So you got to give New York credit. Yeah.
And then maybe my last point, and I'd love to anything else I haven't asked that you want to share what's on your heart, feel free. But entrepreneurship. I'm an entrepreneur. Clearly, you are an entrepreneur extraordinaire, 17 businesses, 17?
Yes, yeah.
And I'm sure you've done more in life, but any thoughts on that? Just, I personally believe that entrepreneurship is the way out of poverty, is the way out of crime, is the way just to be a better person. Whether you're an entrepreneur, Seth Godin, his book, is an entrepreneur in a corporate office, say someone working in your office, maybe they have a cubicle, or you're on your own. But any thoughts on that, on the world of entrepreneurship in America and where we can go? Again, knowing that everybody doesn't want to own their own business and max their credit cards out, but exactly. they think that the aspect.
And not everyone can own their own business. Not everyone's built for that. I mean, look, first thing I hear is, oh, you own a lot of McDonald's, you must be, wealthy, all that. Look, I've made a good living. I'm not going to argue with that. But the stress and the work I went through to get to where I am cannot be not looked at. I mean, it's something that was very, very difficult and hard to do. So when we talk about entrepreneurship, I think it kind of goes another step where everyone has to take responsibility for themselves, okay? And what do you want to be in life, all right? So now the entrepreneur spirit kicks in. If I'm going to be a burger flipper, okay, and I'm saying that derogatory on purpose, right? I should be the best damn burger flipper. But if I'm uncomfortable with my job, let's say I'm a bank teller, and I'm uncomfortable with my job, so I just go through the motions and I don't do a very good job, well, where's that going to lead? I'm either going to get fired, I'm either going to get very poor raises because I'm not doing very well, and then I'm going to blame the company because, I'm going to be 6-7 years into this and go, gee, I'm still here only making, whatever I'm making, right? And that's a lot of what I see in young people, and a lot of what we try to do in our business is make everyone realize that if you're going to be in McDonald's, there's a career path for you. Okay, but some of you are 18, you don't necessarily want this career path, but you need the job, so you start. But if you're not going to be the best burger flipper you're going to be, well then when you go to the job you want to get to, number one, how are you going to get that job? Number two, when you get there, if you're not 100% happy, you're just going to do a 70% job, because in the end, the only one who gets hurt in that is the person themselves that didn't take the responsibility to do the best they could, whatever level they're at. And good things happen to people that do the right thing and work hard. People that just, maybe get frustrated, get disappointed, and I'm not saying bad people, just frustrated or bored, all right, and it shows in their work. Well, they never get promoted. They never get to that dream job they want, and then they wake up and it's 20 years has passed, and they look around and go, well, everyone was unfair to me. I never got my shot. And I'd like to push that back and say you were unfair to yourself. You didn't give yourself the opportunity to get the shot. But anyway, that's my view on it.
No, I love it. And it sounds to me, because you mentioned about your managers, most of your, again, general managers,
Yep.
most of your general managers are all, I think you said in your case, 100% used to work at McDonald's as a burger flipper or maybe a lower wage earner, and they've risen up. So if I can hear what you're saying is that when you're first starting out and you're unskilled, McDonald's is willing to train you.
Absolutely.
And you have to start possibly low, as it were, meaning at the beginning, and to move up. We hear the cheers. That's what do you call that?
Paying by loving. The paying by loving.
I love it. But entrepreneurship, that's what McDonald's provides, and even any job that young people can start at not the bottom, I hate to use that word, but start low, be trained, develop skills, and rise up. Is that?
We're an entry-level position. You can come to me with no school, no experience, okay? But if you come to me with the right work ethic, you can succeed here. I don't know if I can do that at AT&T. I drove a truck to get to college. I went to college. I got a job at AT&T. I don't think a lot of my employees can walk into AT&T and say, "Hey, can I get an office job?" Right? It doesn't happen that way.
But they could in 3, 4, whatever years after learning some skills in management.
Absolutely, and that's the key. There's so many people stuck because they want to get to a certain level, and they don't want to go to the low level because they want the certain level. The certain level comes as you take the steps to get there. You don't just jump in the middle. It's hard to do that. But in McDonald's, it doesn't, even language barriers. If you're a good worker and you're a little struggling with language, you can work in our grill area, and we've had lots of people learn English here. We even have some English as second language courses that they can go to. And, so there's an awful lot of opportunity in any business, but I certainly believe there's a great amount of opportunity at McDonald's.